August 15th, 1977, Ohio, United States. A giant radio telescope was quietly listening to the universe, just like it did every night. Nothing unusual was expected. Scientists were doing what they always did, monitoring meaningless noise drifting through space, random numbers, endless computer printouts, and silence. But then something appeared that should not have existed. A signal, not random, not chaotic, not natural. It was too clean, too precise, almost as if someone, somewhere far beyond Earth, had intentionally tried to make contact. Researcher Jerry Eman stared at the printout in disbelief. Then he grabbed a red pen, circled the signal, and wrote one word beside it. Wow. For decades afterward, scientists around the world would continue asking the same terrifying question. That night, did humanity accidentally receive a message from another civilization? Or did we witness a cosmic phenomenon we still cannot explain? But one fact has never changed. The signal appeared only once, for exactly 72 seconds. And humanity never heard it again. During the 1970s, a massive scientific effort was underway in the United States. SETI, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. For years, scientists had been obsessed with one idea. The universe simply felt too vast for Earth to be the only world with intelligent life. Somewhere out there, among the stars, another intelligent civilization had to exist. So they began searching the sky. But they were not searching with ordinary telescopes. They were listening. Because many scientists believed that an advanced civilization might eventually send artificial radio signals into space. And if that happened, humanity might be able to hear it. At the center of that search stood a giant radio telescope operated by Ohio State University, Big Ear, an enormous metal structure stretching across the ground like a machine built to hear the cosmos itself. Every night, Big Ear scanned the sky and recorded radio signals arriving from deep space. Most of the signals meant nothing: radiation from distant stars, magnetic fields from planets, cosmic interference, or radio noise created by human technology on Earth. The computer printouts almost always looked the same. 1, 2, sometimes 3. Weak background noise. Nothing intelligent, nothing extraordinary, just the endless static of the universe. But the scientists never stopped listening, because they believed that someday something impossible might answer back. And on August 15th, 1977, that impossible moment may have finally arrived. Several days later, researcher Jerry Eman was reviewing stacks of computer printouts, rows of numbers, rows of letters, the usual meaningless radio data from space. Then suddenly, his hand froze. In the middle of the page, one strange sequence appeared: 6EQUJ5. At first, it looked like a computer malfunction, but then he realized what he was actually looking at. At the time, the computer measured radio signal strength using numbers from 1 to 9. Anything stronger than that was represented using letters from A to Z. Most signals barely reached 1 or 2, sometimes 3. But this signal climbed all the way to U, near the highest intensity possible, and the pattern itself made the situation even more disturbing. The signal began at 6. Then steadily increased, EQ, until it peaked at U. Then it slowly faded away again, J5, a perfect curve, as if something massive had slowly approached, then disappeared back into the darkness. The signal lasted exactly 72 seconds. And that detail terrified scientists, because 72 seconds was the exact amount of time Big Ear needed to scan one section of the sky as Earth rotated, which meant this was not a moving satellite, not military interference, not radio noise from Earth. The signal appeared to come from one fixed location somewhere deep in the darkness beyond Earth. And then came the most disturbing possibility of all. Maybe the transmission had not lasted only 72 seconds. Maybe it had been broadcasting continuously the entire time. And humanity heard only a tiny fragment of it, because the telescope passed across that region of space for just 72 seconds. In other words, we may have accidentally overheard a voice that had already been speaking through the darkness long before humanity ever noticed it. And the frequency itself made the mystery even stranger. The signal appeared near the hydrogen frequency, a frequency scientists had long predicted would be the most logical choice for interstellar communication, a universal marker, something any intelligent civilization in the universe might recognize, almost as if the signal had been intentionally designed to announce one thing. "We are here." Jerry Amon stared at the printout for a long time. Then finally, he grabbed a red pen, circled the signal, and wrote one word: "Wow." That small handwritten note would eventually become the name of the most famous unexplained signal in human history. When the WOW signal was finally revealed to the public, the scientific community was stunned, for one simple reason. The signal did not behave like natural radio noise. Normally, signals from space spread across wide frequencies in chaotic patterns. But the WOW signal was different. It appeared in an extremely narrow frequency band. Its intensity changed in a smooth and organized curve, and its timing matched the telescope scan perfectly. Everything about it felt intentional. For the first time, some scientists seriously began asking a terrifying question. What if an alien civilization really existed? And what if humanity had just witnessed proof of it? Then came another disturbing detail: the direction of the signal. The transmission appeared to originate near the constellation Sagittarius, roughly 120 light-years away from Earth, in a region containing stars remarkably similar to our own sun. Some astronomers had already considered the area one of the more promising locations where life might exist. Of course, none of this proved extraterrestrial intelligence. But the problem was the number of coincidences: the hydrogen frequency, the 72-second duration, the perfect signal curve, a location surrounded by stars remarkably similar to our own sun. Too many details aligned too perfectly. Public fascination exploded. Newspapers covered the story endlessly. Television programs debated it for weeks. Some people called it the most important discovery in human history. Others felt something far more unsettling. If someone truly sent that signal, who were they? And why did they contact us? Soon, radio telescopes around the world turned toward the same region of space: the United States, Puerto Rico, Australia, observatories across Europe. Everyone listened. Scientists stayed awake through the night, hoping for one thing: just one more signal, just one more message from the darkness. But nothing came. The signal never returned. Days passed, then months, then years, still nothing. The universe remained silent, and somehow that silence became more frightening than the signal itself, because if it was only random noise, why did it appear so perfect? And if it truly came from an intelligent source, why was it heard only once? As time passed, a darker possibility slowly settled into people's minds. Maybe humanity had already lived through the most important moment in its history and failed to recognize it. As the years passed, scientists desperately tried to explain the phenomenon. Some suggested military transmissions. Others argued that the signal may have been caused by interference from Earth. Then came the most famous explanation of all, the comet theory. Researchers proposed that a massive cloud of hydrogen surrounding a passing comet may have accidentally produced the signal. For a while, many people accepted the explanation, because a natural phenomenon felt far safer than the alternative. But eventually, that theory also began to collapse. Later analysis suggested that no known comet occupied that exact position at the time the signal appeared, and one question still refused to disappear. Why was the signal never heard again? Why did it last exactly 72 seconds? Why did the intensity rise and fall in such a perfect curve? No one could answer those questions. Even today, the WOW signal officially remains unexplained, and over time, the mystery only grew larger, because it forced humanity to confront a terrifying contradiction. The universe should be filled with life. There should be countless civilizations among the stars. So, why does space still feel so silent? Scientists call this contradiction the Fermi paradox. If intelligent life is common, then where is everybody? And within that enormous cosmic silence, the WOW signal remains one of the strangest exceptions humanity has ever discovered. Even now, radio telescopes across Earth are still listening to space. Massive antennas standing alone in the desert. Observation facilities aimed endlessly toward the night sky. Humanity is still waiting for another signal, the sound of dying stars, radio waves from distant planets, radiation pouring out from the center of galaxies. The night sky is overflowing with signals. But strangely, within all that endless noise, nothing has ever appeared quite like the WOW signal again. A universe too vast for the human mind to truly understand. An endless darkness stretching far beyond imagination. And somewhere inside it, something may have reached out only once, like a distant hand knocking softly on humanity's door. And after that moment, people stopped asking a simple question. Are we alone? Instead, a far more disturbing thought began to emerge. What if we already heard them? What if humanity simply failed to understand what it was hearing? That question still haunts scientists to this day, because perhaps the frightening part is not the existence of alien civilizations. Perhaps the frightening part is the possibility that they already tried to communicate, and humanity was not advanced enough to recognize it. And as the years passed, the WOW signal slowly stopped feeling like a scientific anomaly and started feeling more like a scar left behind in the silence of the universe, as if space itself briefly revealed that something was out there before falling silent once again. There is one final detail about the WOW signal that makes the entire story even stranger. It remains the most famous unexplained signal in human history. And yet, no one has ever actually heard its real sound. The original event was never recorded as audio. Only numbers and letters were captured on paper. That is all humanity truly has. A sequence of symbols, a 72-second anomaly, and one man writing the word WOW beside it. What we know is simple. On the night of August 15th, 1977, An unknown signal arrived from somewhere deep beyond Earth, and it completely changed the life of an ordinary researcher forever. Sometimes people wonder what might have happened if even a few more seconds of data had survived. If the equipment had been slightly more advanced, if someone had been listening in real time, perhaps humanity would be living in a completely different world today. For exactly 72 seconds, something in the darkness seemed alive. Then it vanished back into silence, as if nothing had ever happened. And perhaps that silence is more terrifying than the signal itself. Because somewhere, far beyond the darkness we can see, someone may still be waiting for an answer to the message they sent in 1977. August 15th, 1977. One word written beside a mysterious signal. Wow. And maybe just once, humanity truly came face to face with proof that we are not alone. We simply still do not understand what we found. If this story left you wondering, the next one is waiting for you. Subscribe and stay with us.